Six shots on goal for some of these goalies. Give me both teams to score in the first period. That's coming in at plus 185 compared to the over 1.5 that is at minus 120. Okay, you guys ready? Let's make some freaking money. It's time for Pocket with Jo. Good morning, everyone. Jo here at SportsGrid. Helps if I bring my microphone down to level. It's time for Pocket with Jo over here on SportsGrid TV. Now, we got 6 games on the ice today, and we've got one kicking off right away, part of the Global Series here in Finland. So we're going to jump right into it. This is the Florida Panthers taking on the Dallas Stars. Now, if you did miss my post on X and you still have time to get this one off, I did do a same game parlay in this. So I posted this over an hour ago. Hopefully you guys got it. I looked at the points here for the Finnish players to come out on the ice phenomenally hot. I'm taking Rupe Hintz for 1+ points, Mikko Heiskanen for 1+ points, and Barkov for 1+ points, parlayed together an hour ago over on FanDuel at plus 386. So that is the same game parlay in that one, but let's look at those lines. We have the Florida Panthers as the favorite, minus 122, plus 102 here for the Dallas Stars. Now, these guys have been over there for a while, you guys. They have the rest, they've been able to change time zones, obviously. So it's night time over in Finland. It is a day game for us here, 2:10 Eastern. This one kicks off. Total of 5.5, minus 140 to the over, and there's no way I'm touching this one to the under. I do think both of these teams can put up the points. I know we've got strong goaltending with Bobrovsky and Jake Ottinger, but looking at these teams, I do think they put on a show for the Finnish crowd. So I'm going to take this one over that total, and I do think that first period is where we go over right away. I'm going to look in the first period, both teams to score. So the over 1.5 coming in at minus 122 and the both teams to score at plus 174. I'm going to bet both of those. 6 of the last 7 games between these two have gone over that total. Now, who do I think can get the win? I do think the Florida Panthers can get the win. The juice is ticking up on them. They're minus 122 right now on the money line. They do play again tomorrow. I would think these two teams would split over there in Finland. It's going to be an exciting game for the Finnish crowd. I really do think high scoring. The Panthers, I lean to on the money line. First period kicks off with a bang. Now, if I'm looking at other players that I do think can get those points tonight, those goals tonight, interesting to see Lundell wasn't offered for his point tonight. That's why I didn't put Lundell of the Florida Panthers in that same game point parlay. So Lundell, if you can get him for his point on your book, I would look at him. I'd also look at him for the anytime goal for a sprinkle. He's coming in at plus 390. He is tied with Sam Bennett for the second most points on the team with 12. He's got 5 goals and 7 assists. So I do think Lundell, another player from Finland, will be able to get on the board tonight, points or goals. I like both of them. I would look at his goal. You're just getting so much value. Now, I took Barkov in that same game parlay for his point tonight. I like Barkov for the goal as well. That's coming in at plus 290. You've watched him in some press releases saying how thrilled he is to be playing at home and that it's going to be a lot of fun. So you got to believe he's got that extra oomph in him tonight to come out nice and strong for this team. Now, Heiskanen, we talked about, I took him for the point within the parlay. Outside of the parlay, I do think he's worth a sprinkle here for the anytime goal. He's had a slow start to the season in his first 6 games, not able to put those points on the board, but he's got 3 points in the last 2. So if you want to just take him for the assist, because those 3 points have come via assist, it's plus 124. If you think Heiskanen can get a goal tonight, he's coming in at plus 800 here for the Dallas Stars. You guys know as soon as I saw that 8-1 to my money, I put a little bit of money on it. I do think Rupe Hintz is your safer goal scorer here for the Dallas Stars, because could one of these guys get a hat trick? Absolutely. We know Rupe Hintz has got us those hat tricks last season and has been able to cash for us. So his anytime goal tonight coming in at plus 240. So gonna go there in that game. It's kicking off again pretty quick here in the next couple of hours. Larry, good afternoon, Larry and Jimmy. Happy Friday to you too. Happy November 1st, everyone. I can't believe we're on the countdown to Christmas already. Let's start looking at the next game here. We have the Ottawa Senators taking on the New York Rangers as our second game. Now, this one is 7:07 Eastern tonight. The Ottawa Senators rolling into New York as the dog, plus 155, minus 188 here for the Rangers. Total sitting at 6.5. Now, the juice on this total is to the under 6.5 at minus 118. All mark expected between the pipes here. For the Sens, he's 2-2 on the season with a 2.76 goals against average. That save percentage of 904. When we look at him versus the New York Rangers, and yes, when he faced the New York Rangers, he was with the Boston Bruins, but I still do think goaltending trends stay to form. When he was with the Bruins, he went 5-2-1 against Rangers with a 902 save percentage. Igor Shesterkin expected between the pipes tonight for the Rangers. 4-2-1 on the season, off to a nice start. 2.43 goals against average and a 923 save percentage. When we look at him versus the Sens in his career, he's got a 933 save percentage. He's been so strong versus them, going 3-1-1 in the 5 games versus the Ottawa Senators. This game looks like it should be a game that is high scoring, you guys, but I'm nervous to take the full game total to the over. I could see it starting off slow in this one as both defenses come to play. I'm going to take the first period under 1.5. It's coming in at plus 104. And I know, dangerous situation for the offenses we have on both sides of the puck. We have the Ottawa Senators over doing what I thought they would have done this season offensively. They're averaging 4 goals per game. That power play is converting at 31.3%. Sorry. They are getting 31.3 shots on goal. They've got a strong power play out there. And when we look at the New York Rangers, the Rangers coming in, averaging 4.11 goals per game. This power play clicking at 25.6%, 31.8 shots on goal. This is going to come down to goaltending. Goaltending needs to stand on the heads tonight for this one to stay under that total. We look at the New York Rangers, and the Rangers have been able to kill those opponents' power plays, killing 89.7% of them, third best overall in the league. The Senators need to stay out of the box because the Rangers will convert on their power play. The Sens don't have a strong kill, that kill only at 76%. If the Sens spend the day in the box, we're going to see the New York Rangers probably go over this total themselves. So again, full game, I'm staying off the total. First period, under 1.5 goals. Now, if I'm looking at some players that I think should get hot in this one, yeah, we got the Sharks last night. Patrick, thank you so much for being here each and every day. I appreciate you guys so much. Zibanejad really needs to step up for the New York Rangers. Where has he been? That's a huge question mark. He needs to get going. He's only had 1 assist in the last 3 games. Looking at Zibanejad here for 2+ points tonight. Because again, I think we start off slow, and then I do think the Rangers, if the Ottawa Senators end up in the box, could capitalize. It is Friday, though, you guys. Remember, upsets always happen on a Friday. It's a freaky Friday on the ice most of the time. So Zibanejad, I do think 2+ points worth the sprinkle coming in at plus 285. You look at the angles. Zibanejad was drafted by the Ottawa Senators. Don't quote me on it, but I believe it was 2011. He was drafted by the Ottawa Senators. So he is facing the team that drafted him. Those storylines, you guys, always a play on for me. So Zibanejad, who's been cold to get hot in this game for 2+ points at plus 285. Batherson has been absolute fire out here for the Ottawa Senators. He's currently on a 5-game point streak, and it's not just 1 point in each of these 5 games. He's got 4 goals and 5 assists over the last 5 games. 2+ points here for Drake Batherson coming in at plus 320. You've got to love that. The Sens team total kind of a lean for me over 2.5 because it is a freaky Friday out there and anything can happen. 3 of the last 4 meetings between these two teams have gone over that total. So looking at those props, looking at the first period to start off slower, and then the game, it probably goes over that total because you also look at the Sens and the scoring depth that this team actually has this season. I know these goaltenders are going to be hot, and I expect them to be hot to start this game. But the Senators have 6 or more players with 4 or more goals on the season. So those lines, the depth of those lines are scoring. So that's where I'm going with that one. Let's move on to the Islanders versus the Buffalo Sabres. Now, the New York Islanders current lines on FanDuel, -102, -118 here for the Buffalo Sabres. This line has been flipping and flopping, you guys, so watch it. We had the Buffalo Sabres as a short underdog just an hour ago. The New York Islanders have now moved to that underdog role at -102. The total has stayed constant at 5.5, -102 to the under 5.5, -120 to the over. Now, I do lean here on the Buffalo Sabres at home to be able to get the win. The Buffalo Sabres' biggest issue has been goaltending thus far this season. And now, defensively, they're allowing 3.6 goals per game. Lankigan isn't playing up to where I expected, but I do expect Lankigan to start to get in current form. He's got a save percentage right below 900, and I do think that begins to turn around right away. 3-3-1 on the season with a 3.31 goals against average. Facing an Islanders team that offense has absolutely struggled, I do think Lankigan can have success in this one. The face-off is great for the Islanders. They get those shots on goal. They're not creating those high danger shots, which will produce those goals. They're only averaging 2.1 goals per game on 32.3 shots. So if you want Islander props, you guys, look at the shots on goal tonight. You can look at Bo Horvat, Brock Nelson, Pomerami, and all of these players should be able to come out nice and strong. But I can't trust this lack of high danger offense that they are playing with. Now, one thing to look at, though, is when we look at the last 10 meetings, the road team has won 9 of them. We have seen, though, the Columbus Blue Jackets or the Buffalo Sabres here win 3 of the last 4. So they have won 3 of the last 4, but the majority of these games have been the road team, the road ice advantage. So I think tired legs, so here for the Islanders, those trends start to break. This is their 3rd game in 4 nights in different cities each and every night. That's a hard place to play in. I think the under 5.5 is where it's at. It was +110 earlier. So we're not seeing the movement in the line. We are seeing the movement in the value. So again, that under is now at -102. Again, it was +110 within an hour. The last 6 meetings have actually stayed under 5.5. Points. So I'm looking at that. I'm also looking at Tage Thompson here for the anytime goal. If someone's going to score from the Sabres, he has been hot. He scored in 3 of the last 4 games. He's coming in at +185. So Jack Quinn, also a long shot one there. Let's go, Kevin. Let's go, Jimmy. Let's make some freaking money out there on the ice, everyone. If you can give this video a like, a retweet, a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. Keep this show going each and every day here on a SportsGrid TV on X. Now, the Winnipeg Jets, we're looking at -172 favorite. Remember their last game? They came out and destroyed the Red Wings after the Leafs crushed them 6-4. So I'm looking at this game here. They're -172 on the money line. The Columbus Blue Jackets is a Freaky Friday, +142. On the money line, you know I love a home dog, and I love a home dog in the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yes, the Winnipeg Jets have been solid on the road, but when we look at the Winnipeg Jets on the road versus Columbus, the numbers aren't great. So give me +142 here for the Columbus Blue Jackets to pull off the home upset. Just so much value for me grabbing them. That total sitting at 6.5, -106 to the under, -114 to the over. I'm going to look at Columbus's team total. Columbus's team total over 2.5 goals, -139. When we look at Winnipeg, they're 2-4 straight up in their last 6 road games playing in Columbus. Now, Voronkov, I believe is how you pronounce his name, has been brought up by the Columbus Blue Jackets. So we will see Voronkov out there. He's a big, hard-hitting defensive player, and I do think he'll add another level of toughness out here for Columbus. So I can really see him locking down players like Kyle Connor out there, which is so phenomenally hard to do, but Voronkov does add that element out there on the ice that Columbus so very much needs. Dmitry Voronkov is his name. And I also look at the Winnipeg Jets in the look-ahead situation. Firstly, Eric Crombie is expected in goal. He's 2-0 in the season with a 3.00 goals against average and a 915 save percentage. So solid numbers, but The Winnipeg Jets have the Tampa Bay Lightning at home on Sunday, sitting second in the Atlantic. They're sitting first in the Central, 9-1 on the season. I do think after tonight, they are 9-2, and the Columbus Blue Jackets, sitting fifth in the Metro, have every opportunity to get the win. You just look at, there's so many yes tick marks here for the Winnipeg Jets, why they should come out and get it, but I just don't think this is their game tonight. So if you want a safer bet, I like Columbus's team total over 2.5. Again, Columbus's team total over 2.5 is -139, so you got to lay the juice. I'm going to put a little bit on that, but I do like Columbus here for the straight up upset at +160. It's +146. So money definitely coming in on them. You can't even grab that puck line +1.5 at -168. So I'm guessing Eric Crombie has been confirmed out there. The Winnipeg Jets yet to lose a game on the road, but I think it's their first road loss. Let's make some freaking money, Rick. Thank you so much for being here today. Blue Jackets money line. Let's go. And Will Smith, not only did he get one goal last night, it was beautiful to see. He also got a second goal, the game-winning goal for the San Jose Sharks. Great plus money on Will Smith for those goals last night. What about the Sharks, winning 3 in a row? You've always got to look at those situational spots for teams. Why would anyone have laid juice on the Chicago Blackhawks on the road? Let's look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. Tampa Bay Lightning taking on the Minnesota Wild. Now, the Lightning coming in at -105 here. The Minnesota Wild at -114. And I understand, wow, the Wild just won this matchup, and they've been fire this season. This is a team that is so solid at home. The Minnesota Wild do have to get my money to win the second game here versus the Tampa Bay Lightning, which I know is a scary situation. Stamkos, Jonathan Marchessault, they are clicking over there. For the Tampa Bay Lightning, finally, we got Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov. This is a loaded offensive, high-octane team, but the Minnesota Wild, with Kaprizov, I tell you, this team, a lot of people look past them. This is a team that I always seem to look past in certain situations, and they just come out so strong. Matt Boldy as well. I do think the Wild can get the win. They're -114. It's good value on them. This total sitting at 6.5. -130 to the under. +106 to the over. I do think this is a game that can go to overtime. I'm taking the overtime bet +360. I think it's a 4-3 style game, so I will take the over 6.5. Now you're starting to lose value on that over 6.5, so grab it now. It was +115 earlier. It's now coming in at +108. So I do think there's a couple different things to look at here. You got Vasilevskiy versus Gustafsson in goal. Vasilevskiy has been strong. Gustafsson has been strong. But offensively, the firepower between these two teams, I can't take this one to the under. And I do think it's a tight, competitive game with these teams answering back and forth with those goals, then locking down on defense and trying not to make those mistakes. We've got the Lightning averaging 3.9 goals per game and the Wild averaging 3.78. The Tampa Bay Lightning take too many penalties, and that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If the Minnesota Wild can make sure they don't take the penalties, and we see Tampa take the penalties, I do think the Wild are the right side here. They limit themselves to an average of 4.6 minutes in the box. The Tampa Bay Lightning are averaging over double that, 10.1 minutes per game in the box. That is so detrimental to this team against a Wild team that can convert on 25.8% of their power play opportunities, and a weak kill here for the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Lightning are only killing 72.2% of the opponent's power plays, and their power play is not strong. Their power play only clicking at 14.7% of the time. They're playing stronger. 5-on-5 hockey, being able to score those goals. The Wild don't have a strong kill either at 70.66%, but again, they limit their time in the box. I have to take, even though Minnesota won the last game on the 24th, it was the 24th, 4-2, I do think it's another 4-3 style win here for the Minnesota Wild. Kaprizov already has 5 goals and 13 assists with a total of 18 points on the season. I'm going to look at Kaprizov for the anytime goal. He's on that line with Joel Eriksson. I don't know why it's so hard to pronounce to me, and Matt Boldy. So I'm looking at both of those players as well for their points. Now, Like I said, the Lightning, they're such a hard team to deny how strong they are offensively. Cirelli is the top in assists on this team with 10 already. We got Nikita Kucherov leading in goals with 9, total of 17 points. Braden Point, Jake Gutzel, Steven Stamkos, or no longer Steven Stamkos. Steven Stamkos is not here. That's the Nashville Predators. Man, I miss him playing with the Tampa Bay Lightning. The Sharks' money is looking good. You're looking at overtime with the Winnipeg Jets and the Columbus Blue Jackets. Rick, I think that's actually a really solid one to go with that overtime bet because, Winnipeg is never out of these games, and that's something to always look at is the live betting situations if Columbus goes up first. Yeah, the Ducks were not quacking. The Ducks seem to be able to let us down in all of those situations. Okay. Lastly, we've got one game left here. We've got the New Jersey Devils taking on the Calgary Flames. Jacob Markstrom back in the Dome. Calgary's old goaltender who left to go to the New Jersey Devils. This will be his first game back in the Dome. My mom is going to this game, so anyone wanting to bet Calgary, because every time my mom went to the game last season, Calgary was able to get the win. Probably 90%. I think she went 9-1 or 8-1 or 8-2, something crazy like that when my mom's at the game. Those beers will be flowing. She'll be having such a fantastic time with her fiance. It's going to be great for her to see Jacob Markstrom welcome back into the building. So minus 182 for the New Jersey Devils, plus 150 for the Calgary Flames. If you want to buy into the mom is at the game theory, I don't know if I can, though. This could be one where they get the loss. That total sitting at 6.5, minus 118 to the over. I do expect this to be a high octane offensive explosion out of both of these teams. I'm going to look at the over 1.5 in the first period. It's minus 142. I'm going to look at both teams to score. Both teams to score in the first period at plus 156. And I'm going to look at this game to go over 6.5. Again, that coming in at minus 118. It's going to be hard for the Calgary Flames to slow down the New Jersey Devils. This team is so hot. Nico Hischier is leading this team with 10 goals and 15 points. You've got Jack Hughes, Timo Meier. The list of stars on this team just continues to go on. And Calgary has struggled over the last couple games. They allowed Utah to put 5 goals on them, losing that last game 5-1 on the road. I do think that Calgary can score against Jacob Markstrom. You got to look at some of those playmakers out there. I'm going to look at Connor Zary to be able to come out nice and strong. Jonathan Huberdeau as well. I'm just pulling up some of those goal scorers and what value we're getting. Kadri coming in at plus 210 and Kuzmenko at plus 250. Now, Backlund didn't get the goal in his 1,000th game. I could see Backlund scoring here on Jacob Markstrom. They were playing together for so long. I can't even imagine how many years that would be. I'm going to have to look that up. If anyone knows, let me know. But they were teammates for a very long time. Plus 310 for backs to come out nice and strong. Again, Backlund there, plus 310. Coleman's also another look at plus 310. I do think we could start round robining some player points as well in this one. So if we want to look at a couple of these players for 1+ points, let's just make a same game parlay here because so much juice on them separately that you can't take it. Like Nazem Kadri for a point is minus 148. I don't want to bet that, you guys. But if we parlay Kadri, Huberdeau, I do think they'll come out strong for Calgary. Nico Hischier, he's been just lights out for the New Jersey Devils. Again, putting him in the parlay, Jack Hughes in the parlay, and Kuzmenko. Should we put Kuzmenko in, you guys? So let's do one more player for the New Jersey Devils. So we got Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, Nazem Kadri, Huberdeau, Kuzmenko. Ooh, actually, you know what? I'm going to put Rasmus Andersson in there. Rasmus Andersson has been playing phenomenally strong for Calgary. Now, Calgary does have Edmonton on deck, so something to think about. That is on Sunday. That game is definitely circled. So I do think the New Jersey Devils can win this. I will be putting money against my Calgary Flames. I just haven't worked out how, you guys, because there's no value on the money line for the New Jersey Devils. This might be one where we lay the puck line in the first period, laying a half a goal. I expect it 2-1. style first period here for the New Jersey Devils. So New Jersey Devils in the first period, the more I think about it, the more I do like it. Both of these teams' defensive numbers are just middle of the pack. Calgary's allowed, 10 goals in the last 2 games, something crazy. Rasmus Andersson is actually leading this team in goals. 4 goals and 6 assists, 10 points already on the season. So let's take Kuzmenko out. Let's do Rasmus Andersson, Huberdeau, and Kadri for Calgary. So that's 3 Calgary players. And then Jack Hughes, Nico Hischier, and then Dougie Hamilton I want to take a shot on here for the Devils. If we do that parlay, that's plus 15-20 for you guys. Each of those players for 1 point. So again, Kadri, Huberdeau, Hischier, Hughes, Andersson, and Hamilton, all for 1 point, plus 15-24. I think it's a great way. If you want to take a couple players out and just do a 2-team parlay or a 2-point parlay for 2 players, I will look at Nico Hischier for the New Jersey Devils and Rasmus Andersson for the Calgary Flames. Nico Hischier's minus 188, but Rasmus Andersson's plus 114. So combined, that's 2-1 to your money, plus 200 there. It should be a fun night on the ice. Hi to you all. Both teams over 1.5. And the second period over 1.5. I like the first period over 1.5. I do think the second period as well could be a higher scoring game. The second period over 1.5. Just let me look at that one. The second period, both teams to score is plus 100. I think that is a great way to go. Both teams to score in the second period in case Jacob Markstrom comes out really strong versus his former team to start. The total goals in the second period, they are giving us a 2.5. We're not getting a 1.5. That's interesting. Over 2.5 is plus 140 in the second period. Under 2.5 at minus 180. We can't hit that. Can we get 3 goals in the second period? If we do, this game is flying right over that total. I would look at the over 2.5 in that second period because of the plus money at plus 140. I think it's a really solid way to go in this game. Now, live betting situations for all of these games tonight, you guys. I do think you always have to watch in hockey. If you're going into a game with a strong feeling on a team and they go down quick, to come back in on them, it's always a strong way to look because there's a little bit of puck luck in some of these games, and those teams that are meant to win sometimes can rally back. Other teams fall apart. You have to look at those look-ahead situations as well. So make sure you guys join me in-game live. I will be live with Scott Wetzel tonight. It will be 8 to 10 Eastern. So we'll be live betting these games. All the games, let me just see. Everything will be underway. We've got those couples starting at 7, so we'll be in an hour in. So come join us for those live betting. And then those other ones starting at 8 and 9 o'clock. We should be able to cover as well. So you guys, thanks so much for joining me here on Pocket with Jo over on SportsGrid TV. We'll be back tomorrow again, noon Eastern, every single day of the hockey season. We're not going to miss one unless I get hit by a bus. And let's hope I don't get hit by a bus, you guys. All the best in all of your bets. Keep smiling. Let's make some freaking money. Happy Friday. Happy November for us. Let's go, you guys. Hit so many times.